Hello, Dreamweaver World. How's it going out there? Yeah, beautiful world, isn't it? You can see how the old world is fading and the new world is taking hold. You can see it all around the world. You know, even here domestically, the United States government is only able to do a small fraction of what Trump said during the election and during the inauguration. If you've noticed, you know, uh, they had a just a brief article about immigration. You know, I had one of the big military vehicles there, but other than that, I mean, they've totally chilled out on the immigration because I called them out, you know, for the martial law. Um, and they were going to use immigration as a reason to, quote unquote, go to war with the immigrants and try to make it a war to where they have to put military police in every city, uh, in every country, in every state, taking away state sovereignty, taking away city sovereignty to where there won't be any more votes. Trump will just, you know, appoint people, you know, instead of letting it be according to their government. You know, they've broken so many rules of their own government. You know, it's just like constitutional rights, mine, but also around the world. So you can see things are changing. You know, for a while now, all the countries have been steadfast. You know, about war. You might see little conflicts spring up here and there, but it's frivolous, really, when you look at the big picture. You know, because it's slowly happening. You know, uh, whether it be fast or slow, I am attaining ears of all of. Don't worry, I won't chop off your ears. But I'm getting the ears of and hearts and minds of all people around the globe slowly, and that's the goal. Is for me to reach out to every person on the planet and have them feel a righteous feeling of that they know me and that they can trust me as a leader. I'm bringing on Sabrina. I've been kind of coaching her up to what I need her to be for the queen. You know what I mean? So, and you've got an idea about, you know, all my other harem women, how I'm going to send them out for diplomatic duties around the world or set up a certain location because I'm going to arrive or, you know, just anything I need them for, you know, basically is what they're going to do because, for one, they're intelligent. I've already screened them. For another, it's easy for people to talk to beautiful women, to be more accepting. You know what I mean? And of course, they're going to dress right. You know, it's like they're not going to dress for attraction. They're going to dress to do a job. You understand? So there's not going to be too much desire there. But all countries would really prefer to talk to women, you know. So, so I get them there, and I get, you know, so called the crowd ready. You know, that could be a country or city, or you know, and then I'll arrive, you know, and I'll do this all around the world because I am going to appoint presidents in every country, representatives, you know, but that's according to my government, not the U.S. government. You understand? Two different governments, you know. So everything is going good, you know. I still don't know if I'm going to New York. Sabrina's giving me all the right signs, but you know, I don't really count on anything unless it actually happens. You know, so like that's why you have an infinite. Well, I have an infinite plan. You should have a multiple plan. You know, like not just a plan B, but a B and a C and D and an E and you know, it's just like maybe not even using the alphabet, but use a numerical system in case you have over 26 plans. So what you need to do is understand that I've always got a plan. You know, I got a plan for being here. I got a plan for going to New York. I got a plan for going to LA, like actually living in LA. I got a plan, you know, for everywhere, you know. And I'm getting these women all around the world that can be my representatives, you know, and it's just like connections to countries, you know, that would be very important because we're all one society, all right? We are all one planet. You understand? No country is greater than the other. We're going to have that kind of mindset, or with electronics, with the internet, everybody is getting more connected. And, that was one of the things when the internet started was, well, we'll be able to connect easier, And so it's made the world even smaller, you understand? And it's, it's really great because now all people, like, aside from the United States, so young, most other countries are ready, for this to happen because they've been waiting on that guy, whether cultures or religions or science or anybody. I'm that guy everybody's been waiting for. You know what I mean? Like a dude that understands government so well and has got a government that is simple yet complex, because it's always simple before complex. Don't ever make it complex and then try to bring it to simple, because simplicity into complexity means that you are ready to tackle any complex problems and revert them back to simplicity. The sage that they talk about in Tao knows how to make the difficult easy and the easy difficult. So therefore, avoid all difficulties. You understand what I'm saying? And you imagine the yin yang symbol and imagine how it's kind of a dial where you just got to kind of dial in the frequency or, something like that. And that way you go above duality. You're right. And it's so, yeah, you're anyway. So when you get that absolute perspective above a duality, you understand what I'm saying? Then you don't fight on sides. You see the absolute vision, and I teach you how to get, how to transcend all duality. You understand? So things are looking good. I've got a plan. That's just part of it. People always want to know this or that and judge off of how things appear. The faggot posse. They were on a train. I ripped out the brakes. They smashed into a wall. That explosion happened and ended just a few days ago. They're done. Everybody can see how immature they are, and everybody can see how stupid they are. They're insane. They're basically here to do the government's dirty work, and the government doesn't give a fuck about them. It's just like, and they just all operate off of foolish pride and this teenage mindset. But like I said, even the government, I'm whipping them into shape. They're even trying to get on my good side these days. So, things are going to happen. Like I said, the government. The power transition will happen at the end of the year. Like at the beginning of 26, we're really going to see the United States surrendering, and of course, at the same time, I'm rising up. But at the same time, my government is all around the world. It can spring up because it's a psychological government. Same for the individual as any collective, including the entire universe, including the globe. All right. So I'm above everything. I've got everything going on. It can sprout in a village. It can sprout in a country. It can sprout everywhere. This government is like kind of like Alien. Where they go after life forms, but not robots, because the whole reason the humans were created were to develop robots. You know what I mean? And so if you're not a robot, this government's going to fucking tear you alive, tear you up, just like an alien creature would. The type of alien, that's the way that they were made. You understand? They're a bioweapon, right? And so in the same way, this government is a bioweapon in a way that it takes out all the people who are selfish. You understand? You have to be selfless. You got to be a robot. You got to identify as an animal and a servant in order for this government to pass you by. And how it works is that government builds you up from within, so the government passes you by as far as eliminating you. I know it's weird, huh? Like real genius, but it's me. All right, that's good. I just wanted to talk to you. This is only taking 10 minutes. Just a little bit of your time to let you know everything's going good. Real good. So don't worry. All right, I got everything under control. Like I said, write your congressman if you got a problem with the government, and you should like, or congresswoman. You got to make it. In the past, they always said write your congressman. But you know what I mean. Like you can write them, you can call them. I think you can email them. That's how I mailed a letter to President George W. Telling him what he should do with Iraq, and of course he ignored that way back in like 2006 or something, or something like that. But all right, I love y'all, and vanquish the enemies. Stay focused on me and the kingdom. That doesn't mean focus on what I do, every day. That says focus on the example I am, and focus on the work. Focus on building the kingdom. Even you empire people need to focus on the kingdom, because the kingdom is what feeds the empire. You understand what I'm saying? All right. Peace. Peace on earth. I command it. Peace.